Hi everyone, welcome to GT Coding. We are in the process of converting a Figma design to a real website. So we had completed this HTML in the previous video. I will leave the link of the previous video in the description below. Now in this video we will style our page using CSS, and then we'll also add some JavaScript to make the animations work. So let's get started. Here's our HTML code, and we had already linked our style.css file over here. So let's go to style.css, and let's start with the universal selector. We'll just give box sizing of border box so that the height and the width of our elements will be just as we want, and we'll also give it a margin of 0. Alright, next we will style the body, and we'll give it a font family of Roboto and sans serif. And now let's start with the navigation. So just give it a comment. And first of all, we can see we have this division called nav container. So we will style that. So we'll type nav container, and then let's go to Figma, and we will see what are the styles that are applied to nav container. So in Figma you can go to the element and see the code. So if you select this rectangle 7, this is our nav background, and if you go to code, we can see the CSS right here. Let's copy and paste some of these from here. So we'll select the box shadow and the background, and we'll copy it and we'll paste it right here, and then we'll also copy the height and we'll paste it right here. Now if we'll go to our website, we can see our nav container division, and we have the styles exactly applied over here. And then what we need to do is style the wrapper. So for this wrapper we want a maximum width of 1200 pixels. So we'll type wrapper max width of 1200 pixels. We'll also center it, so we'll type margin 0 for top and bottom, and auto for left and right. So here we can see our wrapper starts from here and ends somewhere right here. Now let's apply display flex to this nav, and in nav we have two elements. So this is the nav, and first we have the logo, and then we have a UL with the class name of nav items. So let's target the nav element. So I'll type nav display to flex, and we'll align items to the center, and we'll justify content to space between. So here we can see on the left we have this logo, and on the right we have these nav items. Now we also want to display these list items horizontally, so for that we will go to our CSS and we'll type nav ul, and we will set the display to flex, and we'll also give a height to our nav. So we'll give a height of 72 pixels. Now let's style the logo. So let's go to Figma and see what are the styles. So select the logo, and here we can see the code. We'll copy some of these properties from here. So we will copy all these font properties, and here we'll target the logo. So we'll type nav dot logo, and we'll paste them here, and then we'll also paste this color. Now let's go to our website, and here we can see our logo. Now let's style these list items. So here we'll go ahead and type nav items li, and we'll set the list style to none, and we'll also give a margin right to 100 pixels. So here we can see we have some spacing in between our list items, but on the last element also we have a margin right. So let's just inspect this, and if you go to this nav element, we can see that on the right of our last element we have some margin. So let's remove the margin of the last element. So for that we'll type nav items li colon nth last of type 1. So this will select the last element, and we will set the margin to 0. So now we don't have margin to the last element. Alright, so now let's target the anchor tags. So let's go to Figma, and here we will select the nav items, and we'll select one of these from here, and we will apply some of these styles. So first of all, we'll copy this color, and we will type nav items lia, and we'll also copy the font size, and we also have this font family of Poppins. We'll also add sans serif over here as a backup font, and we'll also remove the underline that we have on our anchor tags. So we'll type text decoration to none. So here we have our nav items. Let's hide this search box for now. So here we'll type hidden items. This is the search box division. Alright, so now we don't have the search box. Now let's style the header container. So we will go over here, and here we'll give a heading, and here we'll type a comment, and let's go to our HTML, and here we have the header container. So let's go to Figma and see what is the background color of our header. So if we select this frame, we can see we have this background color over here. So we'll just copy this, and we'll paste it over here. So we'll just type header container, and now we can see we have this background color. Now we also want to have these shapes on the right of our header container. So what we'll do is we will even add this image right here. So we'll type URL, and in here we'll type images slash bg shape dot svg. So here we can see the image, but we also have to add some more properties to the image so that the image won't repeat, and it should always be on the right. So let's add some more properties. So we'll type background repeat, and we'll set it to no repeat, and background position, and we'll set it to right, and background size, and we'll set it to contain. So here we can see the image on the right. Now we'll set the height of our header container, and if we set it to 100 viewport height, we can see we have 100 viewport height plus the height of this navbar. So let's remove the height of the navbar from here. So for that we'll use the calc function. Alright, so now we have 100 viewport height. Now let's also add some styles over here. We'll set the display to flex and align items to the center. Now let's style the header inside the header container. So if you go to our HTML, we have this header element inside the header container division. So let's type header, and we'll set the display to flex, align items to the center, and justify content to space between. So here we have the heading and the image side by side, but we have less width than we want. So let's inspect this. So here for the wrapper we have less than 1200 pixels width. So if you take a look at the width, we can see that we just have 1092 pixels of width. So let's go to our style.css, and we'll go to wrapper, and we'll change max width to width. So now we have the correct width. So the next thing is to style the h1 inside the header. So for that we'll go to Figma, and we'll select this, and we'll copy some styles from here, and we'll copy all these from here, and we'll paste it inside the h1. We'll just remove the comment. So here we have the heading, and we don't want to have font family Roboto written over here because we already have it set up in our body, and we'll also remove this font style. Alright, now let's style the paragraph. so header P, and we'll go to Figma and we'll copy the styles from here. So we'll copy the font size, the line height, and the color. And we also need to set a width to this paragraph. So we'll go to Figma and we have a width of 418 pixels. So we'll just copy this and we'll paste it right here. And we also need some margin below this, so we'll give a margin to our h1. So we'll give a margin bottom of 24 pixels. Alright, so now let's style the button. So if you go to Figma, we have this button over here. So first of all, let's copy the styles of the text. So we'll select this text from here and we'll copy the font size and the color. So here we will type header A, and we'll also copy the font size, and we'll also remove the underline, so text decoration to none. Now let's select the rectangle and we'll also add some styles from here. So we'll just copy this background color and border radius, and then we'll also give it a padding of 12 pixels top and bottom, 48 pixels left and right. And here we can see the button. We'll also give a margin bottom to the paragraph. So now we have spacing between the paragraph and the button. While we are here, we'll also add a hover effect to the button. So here we'll type header A colon hover, and we'll set the transform, and we'll set it to translate Y, and -8 pixels. And the hover is not working, so we'll go to our anchor tag and we'll set the display to inline block, and we'll also give it a transition of 300 milliseconds. So now we can see we have the hover effect. Now let's apply some styling to our social icons. Before that, let's go to our HTML, and here we can see we have these img tags over here, but we want these to be clickable. So let's wrap all of these inside anchor tags, and I'll just type hash for now. You can type in your profile URL over here. Now let's go to our CSS, and first of all we'll target the social icons division. So we'll just give it a comment, and here we will type social icons, and we'll set it as display flex and align items to the center. Now let's add some margin to the anchor tags. So we'll type social icons A, and here we'll type margin 0 for top and bottom and 24 for left and right. So now we can see we have these margins over here, but we don't want margin for the leftmost item. So let's go over here, and here we will use a selector, and here we will type social icons A nth of type 1. So this will select the first anchor tag inside social icons. So we'll set the margin left to 0. Alright, so we have that style correctly. Now let's move on to this hero image right here. Now for this hero image, we have a division in HTML called hero image, and in that we have two items, an image and a division for the background. So first of all, we will set the position of the hero image division to relative, and when we hover over the image, we want to rotate the image. So let's type transform and rotate, and we'll rotate it -6 degrees. Alright, so now when we hover over this image, we can see that the image rotates. We'll also add some transition for smooth animation. So we'll type header hero image img, and we'll set transition to 300 milliseconds. So now when we hover over this image, we can see we have this rotation. Now let's go ahead and style the background. So here we'll type header, hero image, photo bg. Now let's go to Figma and check out the properties. So let's copy all this code from here and we'll paste it right here. Now we have to set the top and the left positions. So let's go to our website. So this is our bg right here. So let's right click over here and click on inspect. And let's change the left and the top values over here. So we'll type left and we'll start with 0. And for top we'll start with 0 as well. So let's increase these values. And let's increase the top value as well. So I think that's the correct left and top positions for our BG. So let's copy these and we'll paste them right here. And here we can see right now our image is behind the background. So for that we have to set the position to relative and set the Z index to some higher value. So we'll set it to 100. So now here we can see that the image is on the top. Now let's start styling the search box. So we'll go to our CSS and first of all we will comment this line of code. So now here we can see the search box. Now let's add a comment and here we will type search box. And if you take a look at the HTML, we can see that we have a division called search box and in that we have an input. First of all, let me give a background color to search box so that we can see what is going on. So this is our search box and it has a width of 100% as of now. So the width of our wrapper is 1200 pixels. You can see it right here. So let's set the width of our search box to 1200 pixels. And now we want to center it. So margin 0 auto. Now we want to have the input box on the right. So for that we'll just type text align right. Now we want the search box to slide down when we click on this search icon. So for that we have to change the value of top. So first of all here we will type position relative and we'll type top 0. When we add the active class, we want to set the top to 72 pixels. So we'll also set a transition of 300 milliseconds. Alright, now let's style the input box inside the search box. And we'll also remove the background color. Now for the input box, let's go to Figma and let's select our search box. And we'll select this rectangle over here. And we'll copy these lines of code. And here we can see the styles. We'll add some more styles over here. So we'll set the font size to 24 pixels and line height to 42 pixels. And we'll set the border to 0. And we'll also give it a padding of 12 pixels and 48 pixels. So this is our search box. Now let's also change the color of the placeholder text. So for that you have to type search box input : placeholder and we'll set the color to B3 B3 B3. Alright, now we want the nav container to be positioned at the top. So we'll go to nav container and we'll set the margin top to -65 pixels. And we also want it to be on the top of this search box. So we'll also give it a Z index of 500 and we'll also set the position to relative. Alright, that's it with the search box and the nav container. Now let's style these icons. So we want only one of these icons to be displayed at a time. So let's go over here and we will add a new comment: search and close buttons. Now if you go to the HTML, we can see that we have a class called nav button container for this anchor tag, and in that we have both these images. So let's target that nav button container, and we'll set the display to flex, and we'll set the position to relative, and for the images we'll set the position to absolute. So now we can see that both these icons are at the same position. Now we'll be adding a class called active to the nav button container, and when we add that class, we want the close button to be displayed, and when we don't have that class, we want the search icon to be displayed. So first of all, let's hide the close icon, and we'll set the opacity to 0, pointer events to none so that we cannot click on that, and we'll also set the transform to translate y and -8 pixels, and we'll also give it a transition for smooth animation, and we'll also add transition to the search button. Alright, so now we can see that only one of these icons is being displayed. So we don't have the active class applied to the nav button container, so we have the search icon displayed. And now let's style what should happen when we have the active class applied. So we'll type nav button container dot active, and for the search button we'll just copy these 3 lines of code. So we'll be hiding it, and we'll also set the pointer events to none, and for the search button over here we will set the pointer events to auto. And now let's type nav button container dot active close button. So for the close button, we want to have the opacity to be 1, pointer events to be auto, and transform to translate y 0. So that's it with our styling. Now let's go to our website, and let's add the active class and see whether we have the close button displayed. So we'll go to this nav button container, and we'll add a new class, and we can see that the close button is being displayed over here. And when we remove this class, the search icon is being displayed. Alright, so now the last thing to do is when we click on these icons, we want the active class to be applied on the nav button container and also the search box. So for that we'll use JavaScript. So we had already linked our JavaScript file over here in the index.html. So let's go to main.js, and we will reference some of the elements. So const search box document.query selector, and we'll type search box over here, and then we'll reference the nav button container, and then we'll access the search button and also the close button. Now we need to add event listeners to close and search buttons. So let's type search button dot add event listener for the click event, and we'll create an arrow function, and here we have to add the active class to search box and nav button container. So let's type search box dot class list dot add active, and nav button container dot class list dot add active, and we'll just copy this and paste it down here, and instead of search button we will type close button, and instead of adding we will just remove the class. Alright, so that's it with the JavaScript. Let's go to our website, and let's click on this search icon, and the search box is not being displayed, so we seem to have some errors. So right click over here and click on inspect, and then go to console, and we can see that at line 2 we have this error and we have misspelled document. So it's right here. Alright, now let's try again. We can see that the search box is being displayed and also the close button is being displayed. Now let's click on that again, and the search box disappears and we have this search icon. Alright, so everything is working alright. We also have these animations, and that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button, and I will share the link of the source code in the description below. So subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.